few months ago, I made a video about my Floppy Super Square-4 puzzle, but the older version didn't really turn too well, and it was kind of too loose because of a printing issue. This one is actually the new version. I worked with Jason from Chewie's Custom Stickers to fix the design so that it's a lot more stable and turns a lot better. So I'm really excited to announce that you can actually now buy this from his store. And of course it's not as cheap as it would be if it was mass produced, but I really don't think it's actually that expensive, so check it out. If you want one of these, you can get it now, which I think is really exciting. It's the first time that a design that I have made is actually available for people to buy. Really exciting stuff. And also, in collaboration with him, I created this spiral wave sticker mod. Now, this puzzle itself was actually printed and finished by Jason, so in terms of differences from the one I have here, this one feels a lot more stable. It's definitely not as loose. Then the turning is overall very smooth, whereas with this one, it's kind of loud and still kind of loose. So it's good to see that the one that he's actually sending out to people is just overall a really great puzzle. And this Spiral Wave sticker mod, it is slightly more expensive than the normal one. That's just because you can see that there's overall twice as many stickers, so it does take more time to make. But it's not a huge difference, so of course check out the link in the description if you want to buy either version. Something that's really great about his website is that it allows you to buy the puzzles in a lot of crazy different colors. Like, I know he's made one of these spiral ones in red, and he's also made yellow ones and pink ones, and there's a lot of choices. And also you can choose from a lot of different sticker shades, so it doesn't have to be these basic ones. So really you can make it look however you want it to look, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. So anyway, since I've already talked about what this puzzle is and how it works, I'm not going to totally repeat all that, but I will just make a brief overview. This is the Square 4, designed last year by ND Puzzles, and I've showed this puzzle in an earlier video. What I did is I took the cut pattern of these layers and used it to make a floppy version of this puzzle, so as to simplify the mechanism. Instead of having it just be purely looking like this, I made these centerpieces that determine which vertical turn you can make. So you can make horizontal turns like these, and then you can make vertical turns like that. And then of course you can continue scrambling it and keep going. So this is just purely the basic version of the puzzle, where, as you might expect, every side has its own color, and this is a spiral wave type sticker mod. You can see there's spirals on the top and bottom layers, and waves on all of the sides. Now, what these spirals and waves actually do is they give each piece a unique position and orientation, so there is still just one solved state. But it's a little bit harder to recognize what piece goes where, because, well, you can't just use the colors for reference. You have to actually kind of judge where in the spiral the piece goes. So I think it'll be a little more difficult to solve purely because of that. And if you want more details on the origins of this puzzle, then you can check out the earlier video I made. Of course, the link is in the description below. In that video, I did solve this puzzle, but I didn't really use a great method. It was very tedious and kind of difficult to figure out towards the end. But somebody actually suggested a method. You can see it here. And what I thought is, for the rest of this video, why not try scrambling this and then solving the puzzle using that method? Okay, this looks pretty well scrambled to me. Now I'm not going to record the entire solve because I'm probably going to have to sit down and think about it for a while. But I will update you at kind of important points throughout the solve, and I'll tell you what I think works and what I think doesn't. So, since the way I'm solving it is by kind of reducing it to pucks with lower amounts of pieces, you can see here I've paired some of them up. Here's a pair, here's a pair, here's a pair, here's a pair, and here's a pair. So that's exactly 5 pairs. Now, what I'm going to try to do is rearrange these pieces around the puzzle in a way that will allow me to pair up the remaining pieces without messing up the existing pairs. So, we'll see how that goes. I think I am slowly getting somewhere. You can see here that I covered the earlier 5 pairs with orange tape just because I know it's not really necessary, but it makes it a lot easier for me to visualize this reduction method. And I'm going to resticker this puzzle anyway, so I don't really care if I put tape on the puzzle. So you can see that without messing up any of these 5 existing pairs, I've paired up this orange pair here to make a 6th pair, and the other pieces are unpaired. So I guess I'll work on the final pairs now. So you can see I've gotten a lot further. In fact, all of the pairs are paired except for these pieces and these pieces, which appear to be in a configuration that doesn't actually allow me to pair them up without breaking up some of these pairs. So I'll see what I can do. So, believe it or not, I think I did something. You can see that this pair doesn't have tape, and this pair doesn't have tape. But these unpaired pieces are actually 2 pairs away from each other, whereas previously they were only 1 pair away from each other. So I think this will actually allow me to solve these pieces. So I'm going to put the tape back on these pairs and then do that. And it's been done. You can see that with this final move, I have reduced this puzzle to a 10-piece puck. This is 1 piece, this is the 2nd piece. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You might have noticed that the light in this room has changed a bit since my last clip. That's because it's actually been 3 hours since then. But I'm not mad, and I don't think it's been a waste of time. I think I've actually made a ton of progress towards solving this. Now, of course it was fairly simple to pair pieces up to make kind of double pairs, or just quads, if you want to call them that. But the problem was parity. And I'm sure somebody in the comments is gonna inform me that I'm using the word parity incorrectly. But just for this video, that's what I'm gonna call it. Basically, parity is, for example, if this pair needed to go here, it can't go from here to there if these pieces of tape are on. You have to take the tape off and mildly re-scramble the taped pieces to actually migrate them to here. And it was a little bit frustrating to fix just because I don't really have prior experience with this kind of maneuvering. But eventually I actually figured out a method, and you can see that all of these are paired. And what's good about these pairs is that they're correctly positioned. Like, I could very easily put this green here. I know I was originally going to try and solve this into a 5-piece puck, but I realized such a thing doesn't actually exist if I'm not mistaken. And even if it does, if I reduced this puzzle into one, it wouldn't be able to turn. Sometime later, the 10-segmented cheese has been solved. Needless to say, it was a lot more difficult than I expected. So because I know I might not have explained everything extremely clearly during the actual solve, let me just recap what I had to do. So the first step was to pair pieces up. Then I had to fix parity so that it was in a valid state as a 10-segmented cheese and then I had to solve it as a 10-segment cheese. Puck. A cheese. A puck is just a one-layer cheese, you know? But yeah, it's honestly pretty difficult. I still don't fully understand what I did during the 10-segment cheese part, and I'm definitely gonna keep working on it, and eventually, if I can fully understand it, I might make a tutorial on how to solve this puzzle. So if you like this puzzle and you want one of your own, or if you like this sticker variation, make sure to check out the link in the description below where you can buy both of these. But for now, thank you all for watching, and have a great morning.